Today, we're going to dive into a story about a battle that I think so many of us face every single day. It's that relentless noise inside our own heads. But we're also going to uncover a path to something really powerful, the clarity of a still mind.
It always starts so small, doesn't it? Just this one quiet, nagging question. What if I'm not good enough? It's just a little seed of doubt, but if we let it, that one single thought can start to echo. It can grow, and it can absolutely paralyze us. And that's really the heart of the problem we're talking about. This isn't just thinking, it's overthinking. And as we're about to see in this story, overthinking is the ultimate thief of peace. It just steals our calm, turns our potential into anxiety, and makes our biggest opportunities feel like our biggest fears.
Okay, so let's meet the hero of our story. His name is Aarav. He lives in a quiet village, and he's known for being a pretty wise young guy. But lately, this wise man has become totally lost, trapped in a relentless war, right inside his own mind. And here's the crazy part. Aarav's anxiety was actually triggered by a huge opportunity. He got a chance to go to the city and start a new business. But instead of excitement, all he could feel were these what-ifs. Every single one became like a weapon he turned on himself, creating this vicious cycle of fear that left him completely and utterly stuck. Well, a friend of his sees just how much he's struggling, and he suggests a way forward. Not a business plan, but a journey to find stillness. He tells Aarav he should go visit an old monk who lives nearby, someone known for helping people who've, as he puts it, lost their peace. So Aarav makes the journey and finds the monk meditating by a small, calm pond. And before Aarav even says a single word, the monk just looks at him and sees it all. He sees the storm raging inside him. And that calm, simple observation, that's really the first step toward healing. And he lets it all out. He tells the monk how lost he feels, how his own thoughts have become this source of pure exhaustion. He's not just worried anymore. He's bone tired from the nonstop mental gymnastics of overthinking every single possibility. Now, you might expect some deep, complicated, philosophical lecture, right? But no, the monk doesn't do that. Instead, he just turns to the simple, quiet pond right beside them. And this is where the real lesson begins, using nature itself as the teacher. He starts with a very simple question. He asks Aarav, "What do you see in the water?" Aarav looks down into the perfectly still pond and sees his reflection, crystal clear. This is the baseline, the starting point for the monk's little demonstration. Then the monk hands Aarav a stick. "Stir the water," he says. So Aarav does, and as he stirs, his reflection just shatters into 1,000 ripples. He can't see himself clearly anymore. And the monk doesn't say anything. He just tells him to wait and watch as the water slowly settles back to stillness. And this is the light bulb moment. The monk connects the dots for him. He says that disturbed water is your overthinking mind. The truth, your reflection, it's still there. You've just stirred everything up so much that you can't see it clearly anymore. So let's just pause on this definition, because it's so important. Overthinking isn't actually problem solving. It's the act of repeatedly disturbing your own inner peace. It's stirring those waters again and again until the reflection of what's true completely disappears. And the monk's ultimate wisdom is so beautifully simple. Peace isn't found by trying to predict every single outcome. It's found by accepting the present moment. Because when the mind is still, just like that pond, the path forward becomes clear all on its own. Okay, so knowing something is one thing, but actually doing something with that knowledge, that's the whole game. This is where Aarav's real transformation begins. Not with more thinking, but with action. And he doesn't wait. The very next morning, he gets up, packs his bag, and he just goes. He heads for the city. The important thing here isn't that he's suddenly fearless. It's that he has decided to stop letting fear drive the bus. He's choosing action over anxiety. I mean, just look at the difference here, the two paths. When he was the thinker, Aarav was paralyzed, trying to get this perfect control that you can never really have. But as the doer, he's just guided by taking the next step. He trusts the process, and through that trust, his peace starts to come back. And this is such a great takeaway. He creates this little mental tool for himself. Whenever that old anxiety starts to creep back in, whenever those what-ifs pop up, he reminds himself of the monk's lesson with one simple phrase. don't stir the water. It becomes his anchor, pulling him back to stillness. All right, so let's bring this home. What does Aarav's journey really teach us? What are the takeaways we can use whenever we find ourselves stirring the water in our own lives?
It really boils down to this. Overthinking just multiplies our problems. It almost never solves them. The path to peace isn't through more thinking, but through quiet understanding. That means learning to calm your mind before you react. It means trusting your journey enough to just take that next step. Because, as Aarav learned, real clarity usually comes from action, not from trying to have it all figured out in advance.
Years later, after he's become successful and found his peace, Aarav comes up with his own beautiful way of explaining it. He says overthinking is like carrying an umbrella around every single day, even when there's no rain in the forecast. It's just a heavy burden, draining your energy for a storm that only exists in your mind.
So that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. In your own life, are you carrying an umbrella on a sunny day? Are you busy imagining storms that may never actually arrive? Maybe it's time to put the umbrella down, let the water settle, and just see what becomes clear.